guest joining us. With us is Mahesh Murthy, founder of Exceed Space. With us also is Dr. B.K. Tyagi, scientist from Vigyan Parisar, Government of India. With us is Professor Patrick Dasgupta, astrophysicist, joining us from our Noida studio. Also joining us at the moment is Suresh Nayak, former group director of ISRO. Pranav Sharma, astronomer and space historian, is with us as well. But I first and foremost want to go across to Kartikeya Sarabhai, Dr. Vikram Sarabhai's son. First reactions, Kartikeya Sarabhai. This is a massive feat any which way we look at it.
Absolutely, and I share the joy which I see of everyone here, and as Somnath ji and all the people at ISRO, I think he rightly said that this is a victory which is not only for the Chandrayaan 3 team, but the Chandrayaan 1 and 2.
Please hold on to your thoughts. I'm requesting you to hold on to your thoughts for just a few minutes because I believe Mr. Somnath speaking to our reporter Deepak.
Hugar! This is my camera. Okay. Guys, wait! Okay, ask the question. Yeah. 1 second. Sir, can you just hold the other... Sir is speaking. With me is the ISRO chairman, Mr. Somnath, the man of the moment, sir. Congratulations to you and to the entire team for this, grand success. Hello, sir. Guys, 1 second. Guys, one second. Sir, Gadi is right. So, as you go, one second. So, congratulations to you. Big moment, sir. Big moment for you.
All right, back to you, Kartikeya Sarabhai. Big moment indeed, and somewhere or the other, we are seeing the ministers and other scientists come and credit the role of Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, without whose foundational role India perhaps would not have been able to make this giant leap from Earth to the lunar surface.
I think the whole journey, which I was fortunate to be able to see it in different bits and pieces, from when my father was flying the first balloon to do an experiment. We didn't even have rockets to study cosmic rays, to Tumba, to ISRO, and the way forward. But I think at the center of it was the confidence in our people, and what Indians, given the opportunity, given the dream, can really do, and what precision today. I mean, 604 meant 604. It landed exactly there. It was also a tremendous cooperation between so many different laboratories. What you saw, what landed, was perhaps designed and made into several different parts in India. So it's such a joyous occasion. And as the Prime Minister also said, that it is not just for India, it is for the world, that this first landing on the southern, near the southern pole, where perhaps we will find water and other minerals, and maybe that becomes the first place where man will finally have a space station on the moon in the future. This and I think it's something which will remain. It's also something which is seen by children throughout. It catches, it fires their imagination, ignites their mind. As Abdul Kalam ji used to say, we have ignited people's mind. And I think bringing science really at the top, but most importantly also not being imitative of something else. We had our own plan. We did it in our own way. We did it in a very cost-effective way. And I think that is India, which we are all proud of.
That's a very important point that you've made. The fact that we've done it at a fraction of even the cost of Hollywood movies, even perhaps lesser budget than some of the big budget Bollywood movies. And that's what makes it so special, that scientists have, managed to develop. Of course, there's been cooperation with different countries over the years, over the decades on various aspects. But the point is, at the end of the day, it is an Indian program. Whether it is the lander, whether it is the rover, we have perfected this. And of course, with the aid of technology, being able to softly land on the lunar surface. A massive achievement in that sense, isn't it? Kartikeya Sarabhai.
Absolutely. And I think for young people, this is certainly a moment of joy. We might not see the Gaganyaan and all the things which will follow. I'm just sitting next to my granddaughter who is doing her lesson, and I'm just looking at her and thinking, what will she see when she grows up, and where will we be now? And it's certainly a marvelous moment to rejoice, and for every child like her, to be able to see that we can do this. And Vikram Bhai's dream was to to have science available to everyone. He formed the Community Science Center, saw ISRO as a way of delivering education to the remotest parts of India. So this is a part of nation building, and this success marks something which is of pride to all of us, and it's truly a great moment to share. Thank you for that.
Well, absolutely. And in fact, we have to thank ISRO for that. But one last question, Dr. Sarabhai, there's so much more that's coming up in the future. There's a manned mission. There's talk of a moon treaty under the aegis of the United Nations. All of this gives a huge impetus to the Indian space program and India's role in that particular space program. When we're talking about the tradition of the great spacefaring nations of the world, India now has truly and surely arrived.
And India has shown that it has a space mission which is not a standalone one. It's a mission which is connected intimately with the development of this country, the pride of this country, and the future of this country, and therefore the future of developing countries as a whole. So the Indian space, unlike some of the other ones which are more technological and trying to get there fast, India has done it, as you said earlier, in a cost-effective way, in its own way, but in a way which is deeply connected to our own needs and the needs of developing countries. So again, congratulations to ISRO and to everyone there. It's a very proud moment for all of us.
Thank you so much, Kartikeya Sarabhai, for talking to us here. In fact, we've got to cut across live. There are several reactions coming in. Let's listen in to some of them.
और पूरे प्रदेश और देशवासियों को इस सफलता की हृदय से शुभकामनाएं। जय हिंद।
एक वास्तविक अमृत वर्षा करने वाला क्षण हम सब लोगों ने अपनी आंखों से देखा है, इसलिए हम धन्य हैं। अब हम अपने कर्तव्य के लिए जागे और आगे बढ़े, इसकी आवश्यकता है। आगे बढ़ने के लिए आवश्यक सामर्थ्य, आवश्यक कला कौशल, आवश्यक दृष्टि, सब कुछ हमारे पास है। ये आज के इस प्रसंग ने सिद्ध कर दिया है। मैं फिर से एक बार सबका अभिनंदन करता हूं और हृदय से कहता हूं, भारत माता की जय। हमारे वैज्ञानिकों ने अभी तक चंद्रमा के दक्षिण ध्रुव पर कोई उतरा नहीं था। लंबे परिश्रम के पश्चात वहां उतरने का पहला मान प्राप्त किया है। संपूर्ण देश के लिए ही नहीं, सारे विश्व की मानवता के लिए।
All right, let's cut across live. In fact, there are some celebrations that have broken out immediately, spontaneously across the length and breadth of the country because it is a historic moment. It is a moment for all Indians, 1.5 billion Indians to rejoice. Let's listen to some of the reactions coming in.
I'm currently at Nehru Planetarium and this is a big day for India. ISRO has announced that India is now on the moon. I'm joined by a lot of students here. How's the excitement and what do you have to say after this monumental day in the history of India?
We were so excited to see the landing, and we all witnessed the history, and this moment will not come again. And after Russia, India was the first country who did such a great landing. So we are so proud of our nation.
What do you want to say to the scientific community which put so much hard work for this to happen?
I just want to say that I'm extremely proud of all the India, and also apart from being proud, I'm motivated. I'm motivated towards the ISRO and the space organization.
Definitely a very monumental and historic day for our country. There are a lot of people who are here at the Nehru Planetarium who have come here quite happy. You can see, I would request a camera person to just show this. India ne kar dikhaya, chand se mein baahon pe. What do you want to say?
Today is a pleasant moment that we are born in India. We are so pleasant that we are in India because there's no word to express what we are feeling. We are so happy.
क्या फील कर रहे हैं सर? कैसा लगा जैसे टचडाउन हुआ मून पे?
शब्द रुक गए और आंखें बरस पड़ी। इतनी खुशी हुई कि आंखें रोने लगी। खुशी के आंसू आए। आज हम बाप बेटी सुबह से खड़े थे और इस प्रतिज्ञा के साथ खड़े थे कि हम जीत के जाएंगे और चांद को अपने साथ लेके जाएंगे। ये हम जीत गए और चंदा मामा हमारे हुए। अब चंदा मामा दूर के नहीं है, चंदा मामा हमारे। भारत जिंदाबाद, हम जीत गए।
Well, the passion, the joy, the energy, it's all palpable. It's all visible on ground. Let's quickly take this across to the rest of our guests who are with us. Let me come across to you first. Mahesh Murthy, founder of Exceed Space. What does this do in terms of our technical prowess? It's a proud moment indeed. But in terms of what India can do from here on, there are several ambitious missions ahead, looking at what ISRO is planning, whether it's the manned mission, whether we're talking about the potential moon treaty. How does this change things here for India?
So it's an amazing moment. Let me start by congratulating all my friends at ISRO on this extraordinary feat. I think the key thing to remember, if you go back, man landed to the moon in 1969. It's been 54 years since, and nobody's gone back to the moon since. All right. And I think what's really important out here is that this entire extraordinary feat of ours has to be able to convert into a big business for space in our country. At Exceed Space, we were India's first private company in space. We put 5 satellites that we built or co-built into space already. Now, the interesting thing is, the Americans basically sent a rover to the moon, and if I look at the numbers, they said the cost of the rover is the cost of building 7 kilometers of tunnel. And the Chinese came back and said, our cost of sending our rover to the moon is the cost of building 1 kilometer per tunnel. And I think now ISRO has come back and said that our cost is the same as building a 300-meter tunnel. All right. So where we are is we brought the cost down. It's not just interesting. It's not just important. We build the world's lowest cost satellites. We build the world's lowest cost rockets. But ISRO, we have to turn this into a big business opportunity. Already, the world is now moving to find resources and potential habitations elsewhere. हमारे लिए एक बहुत ही बड़ी opportunity है in the private space industry in India to be able to take this credibility that comes from this victory and turn it into a big business success.
Okay, let me take this across to Suresh Naik as well. He's a former group director of ISRO. Mr. Suresh Naik, how do you look at that statement, that this is also a great opportunity? Of course, it's a moment of great national pride. And, in terms of the potential of this, there is so much that we are looking at. How do you look at this, and what we see is in terms of the roadmap for the future? Mr. Naik.
Yeah, actually multifold benefits to the country. First thing is it has successfully demonstrated the soft landing technology. So it will definitely open avenue for further demonstration of technologies like landing human being on the moon, because soft landing is very important for that mission. And of course, the other benefits I would say are in the economical side also. Because of this particular achievement, there is going to be a lot of energy in the country, and the private startups which are there, they also, I'm sure, they will get support from the venture capitalists, and it will prosper very much. So that is going to benefit our economic ecosystem.
Right.
And thirdly, and most importantly, is the youth of this country will get further energy and inspiration to look up to the space science and technology as a possible career. And that also is going to be very important development.
Well, that's very, very significant. And in fact, let me take this question across to Ravish Malhotra, who as know was in fact one of the trained cosmonauts, the few that India has. Mr. Malhotra, very importantly, the manned mission, Gaganyaan, of course, is up ahead. That's on the cards for India. And clearly the success of Gaganyaan is going to be very, very important. That's the next big step. What are the odds following this soft landing that you are seeing in terms of India successfully executing that mission as well?
Like what we've seen today, completely flawless landing of our Chandrayaan 3. I have no doubt at all that our Gaganyaan mission will also have exactly the same flawless approach. When whatever we do absolutely with a lot of backup. Everything is being done. There are test missions being done to make sure that absolutely there will be no failure once we send our
Well, absolutely. Redundancy is being built in. In fact, the technology is being perfected. The AI software is being updated. All of that being put into place to ensure that the final outcome is perfect. And that's exactly what's happened. We've had a perfect soft landing on the lunar surface. Now, very quickly, here's a response coming in from the ISRO chairman, Mr. Somnath, speaking exclusively to my colleague Deepa Popanna. Let's listen.
Yeah. So, yeah, we are very happy about this mission. It has been such a great mission and achieved the touchdown very, very safely. Beyond our expectations, I must say. But we were expecting this to happen today.
Yeah. So, wish you all the best for all your certificates who put hard work, effort, sir. You must be very tense, especially at the last.
We were not tense at all because we have done the work. Yeah. And because work is done very well, there will not be any possibility of any more failures or issues. Yeah. That we were very confident about.
Yeah. So, how was the Prime Minister when address after the successful launch of the mission, sir?
He congratulated all of the ISRO family members, and he wanted to come and personally greet each one of us. And he also said that we are making India very, very proud.
Yeah, sir. This is one of the important missions that entire world was looking at it. What do you like? An entire billions of Indians were with bated breath. Well, what do you have to say to Indians, sir? To the common Indians who were. Yeah.
Now, India, now you have a piece of moon with you. It belongs to you as well. It is like very other powerful nations that put their foot on the moon. Now you can be proudly claim an Indian material is softly on the moon. You can have the rightful claim on it. Yeah. Future generations can claim it.
So now landing has happened. One of the big tasks is over. Now that it's about exploration, it's about scientific contribution. What do you have to say on that, sir? Next mission of Chandrayaan?
No, we have not defined any next mission of Chandrayaan at this moment.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm going to continue about the major aims of
events. There are experiments that are supposed to be conducted in Chandrayaan 2, which includes the rover coming out and conducting all those experiments. Yeah, that will happen now.
To say, sir, the mission is successful. Yeah.
So, yeah, we are very happy about this mission. It has been...
All right, big words coming in. All Indians can feel proud that we have a piece of India that has softly landed on the moon, along with the great spacefaring nations of the world. Very powerful, very emotive and strong words of the man who's led Team ISRO to this stupendous success, making India the first country to land at the South Pole of the moon and the fourth nation only ever to have a soft landing on the moon. Stay tuned. We're going to slip into a quick break, but our continuous coverage of this historic event will continue on the other side. The mood is certainly energetic. It's a moment of great pride for all Indians. And as one newspaper put it, if you step outside and you look at the moon today evening, your heart will swell with pride. Because remember, there's a piece of India that has landed on the South Pole of that moon. It is certainly a historic moment. And let me quickly take this across to our guest. Pranav Sharma is with us, astronomer and space historian. Pranav, take us through what we can expect of the next 14 days. We know that it is one lunar day. That is the mission life of this project. If all goes well, what can we expect of the next 14 days? There will be, of course, images, videos, but also scientific experiments on those payloads that will be conducted.
So I think, first of all, let's just take a breath in this moment that we've finally made it. We've reached it. We are there. It's a definitive action. The contract has been signed that India will be sitting on the same table as others while negotiating things on the moon. Having said that, one very good thing that has happened here is we've tested how soft landing works, which essentially means that we have created a precedent of technological data and scientific data wherein we'll look into the ideas on how to put a man not only on a terrestrial planet, but, have other probes in other planets as well. Now, what will happen in next 2 weeks, per se, is number one, the rover will come out immediately after the health test for the landers are conducted and they're done and they are, meeting certain parameters that have already been studied in and around. And then once the rover comes out, the rover is going to do its set of experiment that is set out for it. It will look into the seismic activity. It will look into the elemental study, for which it has 2 payloads.
Right.
The lander will do its own job, wherein the lander will look into dust and other particles, wherein what we're basically looking at is study of a lot of minerals and elements on the moon. We're looking at study of water ice on South Pole. The reason why it also becomes important, this mission becomes important, is that we are not only studying the material that might be available on the southern side of the moon, but we'll be also testing it for the upcoming mission, which will go, which is being planned with the Japanese Space Agency.
Right.
Perhaps around 26, 28, which will test the night vision and much more of the work that we'll do in next 2 weeks in greater detail.
All right. Let me take this across to Dr. B.K. Tyagi as well. Dr. B.K. Tyagi, what can we expect in terms of the outcomes of this particular mission? If you can explain to our viewers, of course, he has talked about how various elements would be tested, the seismological data would be there, but in terms of establishing the safety of a lunar colony, will this mission have a key role in that, in your view?
Of course, because the main idea, you may be knowing, like Chandrayaan 1, the data which was collected at that time, it gave us a clue about the existence of water on the South Pole in a crystalline form. I think this will be, now it will be a confirmatory test which will be done by the this our Pragyan, in the sense it is that Pragyan is physically there, touching, sensing the actual atmosphere and the soil, and then analyzing it. So the presence of those materials will be there, and if the water is there, I think colonizing that area for interplanetary mission, it will be very easier, because the gravity of moon is less. There is no atmosphere, so injecting to outer space from there any space mission will be consuming less fuel. So that is a very ideal, or you can say strategic site for interplanetary mission. So one thing is that, like, finding of this Pragyan will give us a clue for the future action, in what way we proceed to whether to colonize it, or then also the presence of mineral.
Right.
Especially helium is also reported to be there in abundance. So if we have a transportation facility bringing that helium on Earth, easy transportation, so then I think the energy crisis of the world could be solved by that, because helium can help us to generate a clean energy, because now this G20 summit will be next month we have, and one major issue is on the energy. Right. And climate change and global warming, because the entire thing which we are facing at the global crisis about this climate change and global warming is because the root cause is the energy, carbon-based energy. Right. So I think the scope is tremendous. It's a huge.
Right. Right. So, I'm going to come back to you, gentlemen, in just a minute, because my colleague Shivani has in fact spoken to several of the Jawans here in the national capital. The mood is high, the josh is high there as well. Let's quickly listen into what's happening there.
They are just overwhelmed, like every Indian out here. Bharat Mata ki Jai slogans are being shouted, and every Indian is now full of emotions, because this is the moment for which Indians work. And this is the Bharat Mata ki Jai slogans are being chanted here in the Rajputana Rifles Regimental Center in Delhi. And this is the moment. ये बताएगा कि कितनी बड़ी बात है. कितनी बड़ी बात है, कितनी बड़ी बात है।
भारत के लिए बहुत ही गर्व की और बहुत बड़ी बात है। इससे हमारे देश का नाम, भारतीय सेना का, वैज्ञानिकों का इतना बड़ा जोश आएगा कि नई नई तकनीकियां करने के लिए और भी उत्साह बढ़ेगा।
लगातार भारत माता की जय हम सुन रहे हैं, आपको कैसा महसूस हो रहा है?
हमारे को बहुत अच्छा महसूस हो रहा है, हमारा देश ने बहुत ज्यादा तरक्की करी है।
Breaking news coming in at the moment. The Prime Minister is going to be the scientists involved in the Chandrayaan 3 mission on the 26th of August. Yes, it's the PM who will be meeting the scientists involved in the Chandrayaan 3 mission on 26th of August. This is a massive update coming in. Imran, you just spoke to the chairman of ISRO a short while earlier. Now there's big news coming in that the Prime Minister will be meeting with these scientists. Is it going to be a physical meeting? Is it expected to be a virtual meeting? Can you give us more details?
यही सोचता है कि आज हम यहाँ से निराश तो नहीं लौटेंगे, कुछ जीत के ही लौटेंगे। लोगों के अंदर निराश था, क्योंकि हमारे अंदर निराश नहीं था। हमें मालूम था कि आज ISRO जीत के रहेगा और आज ISRO जीता है।
Yes, Madhav, that's a big news coming in. The Prime Minister will be there to meet the scientists of Chandrayaan mission, and celebrations happening outside the ISRO office. There were celebrations of billions, and along with it, the people of Bangalore also have come out in support of the scientists there, and the celebration is happening here, as you can see from here. Sir, आज एक बड़ा हुआ है चंद्रयान सक्सेसफुल लॉन्च, क्या कहना चाहेंगे इस पे?
सर, कहने के लिए मेरे पास कोई शब्द नहीं है। हम लोगों ने आज इतिहास बनते हुए देखा, हिंदुस्तान ने इतिहास बनाया है, पूरी दुनिया को दिखा दिया है कि हिंदुस्तान अगर सोच ले तो कुछ भी कर सकता है। और आज सबसे बड़ी खुशी की बात है, इस जीत में 140 करोड़ हिंदुस्तानी थे। मैं किसी जात की बात नहीं करूंगा, पात की बात नहीं करूंगा, धर्म की बात नहीं करूंगा, मजहब की बात नहीं करूंगा। आज उत्तर प्रदेश में हर स्कूल में, हर गुरुद्वारे में, हर चर्च में, हर मस्जिद में लाइव दिखाया गया बच्चों को। आज वही बच्चे आगे जाके भारत की एक और कामयाबी का हिस्सा बनेंगे। ये मेरे लिए सबसे बड़ी खुशी की बात है सर। इस खुशी में पूरे हिंदुस्तान का योगदान है, पूरे हिंदुस्तान का, छोटे छोटे बच्चों का योगदान है। इन्होंने जितना दिया है, एक होता है पूजा करना, प्रार्थना करना, आज छोटे छोटे बच्चों से लेके 4 साल के बच्चों से लेके 100 साल के बुजुर्गों ने प्रार्थना की है। वो प्रार्थना आज महादेव ने सुना है।
तो लगे जोर से नारा लग जाए आज इस बार।
नारा तो सब कितना लगाओगे, 365 दिन लगाने को तैयार है बिना भोजन के। भारत माता की, भारत माता की, भारत माता की, ISRO की, ISRO की, ISRO की।
All the celebrations and excitement after the successful launch of the Chandrayaan mission here in Bangalore.
The energy is high, the josh is high, and the josh is high for 140 crore Indians as well, because this is a massive moment. My colleague Akanksha joining us from India Gate as well. Akanksha, what is the mood like over there? What are the residents of the national capital telling you?
Well, absolutely. The prayers of 1.4 billion people have been answered. Today is a monumental and a historic day in the history of India. I'm currently at India Gate, and as you can hear, the josh here, the energy is high. काफी अहम दिन था आज हिस्ट्री में इंडिया के लिए, क्या कहेंगे?
हिंदुस्तान जिंदाबाद था, जिंदाबाद है, जिंदाबाद रहेगा। भारत माता की। आज पूरा
एक छोटा सा बच्चा, मैं आपसे पूछना चाहूंगी, आपने लाइव लैंडिंग देखी क्या, और क्या सोच रहे थे, क्या कुछ चल रहा था आपके दिमाग में जब वो सब देखा?
बोलो
बताइए।
अच्छा लग रहा था कि हमारा इंडिया फर्स्ट है नॉर्थ पोल साउथ पोल पे लैंड करने के लिए। अच्छी।
प्राउड ऑफ योर कंट्री?
यस।
क्या कहना चाहेंगे, काफी अहम दिन था आज?
It is something which we been dreaming for years, so I'm very proud. Not me, all of us very proud of this moment. Thank you.
एक बार नारा लगा दीजिए, वंदे मातरम।
भारत माता की, भारत माता की, हिंदुस्तान, 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 हिंदुस्तान जिंदाबाद, हिंदुस्तान जिंदाबाद।
एक मैसेज ISRO के साइंटिस्ट के लिए भी बहुत अहम उनका इस चीज में कंट्रीब्यूशन था, क्या कहेंगे?
आज देश का, we are all very proud of our scientists, Indian scientists, that definitely। आज देश का हर नागरिक अपने आप में पूरा गौरवमय महसूस कर रहा है। विश्व पटल पर जो ISRO के वैज्ञानिकों ने आज भारत का नाम पूरे विश्व में चमकाया है, उनको लिए दिल से सैल्यूट। भारत माता की।
कितने एक्साइटेड थे आज?
All right, let me quickly get in a quick comment from Pranav Sharma, who's with us here in the studio. Pranav, this is very significant. But, we were talking about interplanetary travel and why this is important, not just from the perspective of new space stations, lunar colonies, or even the soft landing, is because the moon can potentially be a better destination for launching future missions as well, because it doesn't have an atmosphere, isn't it?
That is actually correct. Now, the very interesting thing about the site that has been chosen between the Masnius and the Simplus craters, it has the inclination which is less than 7 degrees, which means that it has, close to perfect kind of space. But the interesting thing that it can do is the landing site of Chandrayaan 3 has great illumination, wherein when you put solar panels around it, it can work for a longer time. The other thing is that it is in direct line of sight with with Earth, so wherein you can have those kind of radio communications coming in. Okay. Now the good thing is this place can actually become a very good pit stop for the interplanetary missions. So the phase 1 can go up to the moon, and from phase 2 it can come around for other planets.
Okay, let me quickly take this question across to Pramod Kale as well, former space scientist of ISRO, joining us. Mr. Kale, huge moment for ISRO. Congratulations to you and to Team ISRO, certainly. But at this moment, the significance, as several of our guests have been telling us, is that this is a moment that has so many huge implications, from future of space travel, space exploration, even to India's role amongst the great spacefaring nations. Mr. Kale.
I think this has been really a great achievement. What has been shown as this type of a soft landing, I'm quite certain that the technology that has been developed will be definitely the same technology we can use even if we wanted to land on the Mars. I'm quite confident that the way we have used our LVM-3, even using the smaller vehicle compared to the American vehicle or the Russian vehicle, we were able to land here. Earlier, we had shown that the same vehicle which we used for going to the moon, that was the PSLV, we used the same vehicle for going to the Mars. Right. I'm quite certain that with this vehicle, we should be actually able to go and land on the Mars also.
All right, so that's very significant. And in fact, sir, I'll just interrupt you there, because Team Times Now congratulates Team ISRO for this glorious moment scripted in India's golden history. Here are the images from the Times Now newsroom earlier this evening.
Well, India has scripted history, and what a journey it has been the last 40 days. Straight away to Group Erita, Navika Kumar. Ma'am, how does it feel?
Tiranga on the moon, what more do you want?
We've been tracking this journey last 40 days, and we could not wait until today. We finally made it to the moon.
Absolutely, and to the South Pole. First country to land near the South Pole of the moon. India creates history.
India creates history, and we're all literally on top of the moon as we speak. So very excited. Abhinav, how do you feel?
Amazing. I mean, I have not experienced anything like this before, and the kind of national pride that I guess is surging through every Indian's heart at the moment is undescribable. Today is the moment where we can proudly lift our heads and say, yes, we have done what no one else on this globe has done so far.
The entire country was cheering on. The last 2 days, there was so much energy that we could feel from across the country, and feeling the same energy in the newsroom today. Madhav, you were inside the studios during that historic moment. Tell us what you went.
Well, there was one guest who was, so tense, she was sweating, she was panicking. There was another guest who was cheering away. And, this is a journey that I've been tracking personally for the last 15 years, because I was in 2008 right there at the ISRAC Center in Bengaluru covering Chandrayaan 1. So it's been a huge, huge journey. Nobody could have imagined that this would be so successful.
It is truly phenomenal. What else I can say? Landing on the South puts us in the League of Nations after Russia, China, and the United States. So India is out there, letting the world know that, the arrival of India on the, moon is out there for the world to see.
Let's quickly move to the dhols and the nagaras. Let's quickly